There's no questioning that the MCU over the last 10 years have dominated in doing what they do best, and that is culminating a complete story by combining different characters from different movies and bringing them together on the big screen for one big final battle. And certainly throughout the first few phases that we had in the MCU, there are different examples of this that all lead up to Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. And that was a moment in cinematic history that won't be forgotten anytime soon. What we want to do today is we want to talk about how Marvel is continuing this in Phase 4, Phase 5, and in the future of the MCU, moving on past the Infinity Saga now, but we're going to highlight the characters that are anticipated to show up, both confirmed and rumored and speculated, just in the Disney Plus series. If you haven't already heard, during Comic-Con last year, Kevin Feige confirmed for us that Disney Plus will be sharing the MCU titles through television shows that we will be getting. Things like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And he confirmed they will be a part of the MCU canon. And not only a part, but a major part. And that the characters introduced and showing up there will show up in the movies and will certainly have an important role to play in the future of the MCU. Throughout these TV shows that will be an addition to the MCU on the Disney Plus platform, we will be getting introductions and sights of characters left and right. So let's line them up, see how many are confirmed, what the predictions and the speculations for other characters making an appearance are, and we'll see how many and how crazy the Disney Plus side of the MCU is going to get. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture. It's Chris. If you love to stay up to date on all major television and movie news, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We cover it here on the channel, and we love to chat with you guys in the comments, so let me know what you think of Disney Plus and the MCU being a huge part of that in the comments down below. So let's talk the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series coming to Disney Plus. This is going to be an amazing series. We've seen a lot of different teaser trailers and photos and pictures for it that are going to demonstrate that it has a lot of action, it has a lot of twists and turns, and it has a huge relevance to the MCU plot moving forward. We have to remember, after the events of Avengers Endgame, we are in a transition state. We're trying to get into the future. We're trying to recover from the blip. We're trying to move on. So this is going to really kind of set up, in an instance, what the future of the Earth-bound heroes is going to be, and potentially as well the villains. So obviously, we can expect to see Sam Wilson, the Falcon, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. It's called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that goes without saying. And even though at the end of Avengers Endgame, Captain America passed the mantle to Sam Wilson, or the Falcon, to be the next Captain America, it turns out that somebody else thought it was a better idea to make John Walker, or U.S. Agent, Captain America. And we've seen a lot of different leaked photos of him fighting as Captain America, as well as being introduced and shown as Captain America. So whatever the reason be, Sam Wilson did not become Captain America, or at least hasn't immediately become Captain America, and U.S. Agent John Walker will be that agent. We can also expect to see Sharon Carter, who is Agent 13, who was confirmed to have been dusted during the blip, and was also confirmed to be on the huge run, where all of the characters show up in Avengers Endgame to defend the Earth from Thanos and his army. And that's good news, because it seems like Sam and Bucky are both going to be needing some allies in this series, where it seems like their backs will be up against the wall for a large majority of the time, both from the US government and from our next character, who is Zemo. He's also been confirmed to have a place in this series as probably the main antagonist, and he was last seen in jail after Black Panther. Then, of course, moving on with our list to the rumored characters who have an expectation to show up in the series. And although we don't really know what their point will be or what role they were playing, we can always try to speculate that together. So we have Batroc the Leaper, who was last seen in Captain America Winter Soldier, but people anticipate that he will be coming back in this Captain America-esque and themed series for his revenge. And it's also rumored that we will have Lamar Hoskins, aka Battlestar. Now, we got this information also from Murphy Law's show, where he shared photos that he had of the set, and we could see a flower shop that was called Hoskins Family Flowers. Now, why does this matter? Hoskins was actually an ally to John Walker, U.S. Agent, and he kind of plays this Bucky role in the comics. So he's a very good ally to US Agent, who we know will be Captain America, and it's possible that we will be seeing Battlestar team up with US Agent John Walker and probably fight against Sam and Bucky. I'm sure at some point throughout the series there will be a fight scene where US Agent John Walker and maybe Battlestar, if this rumor is true, and then of course Sam and Bucky will be fighting against each other. It's almost guaranteed. Let's move on now to people we are predicting. So these aren't rumors, but just based off common sense, I would expect to see at some point Captain America. I would like to see Black Panther make an appearance and Shuri, because we know that they're trying to move towards the Young Avengers, and I think Shuri is going to have a huge point in the Young Avengers. She's definitely going to be involved in that somehow or another, and that would be really exciting to see. Now for these characters, General Ross, who will probably be behind the entire US Agent being involved in the Captain America. If we recall extremely well from Civil War, he was the one that was originally trying to make all of the superheroes under control. And Sam wasn't his best friend at the time. In fact, he chose to side with Captain America, no surprise there, but that definitely isn't going to put him on General Ross's I want you to be Captain America list. He wants somebody who's going to listen to him and who's going to put, in quotation marks, America first. So definitely going to probably see his involvement. And there's one other reason, and that is because there is a lot of rumor and speculation about the formation of the Thunderbolts. And Zemo is a character who is involved in the comic books as a character in the Thunderbolts. We aren't sure, of course, Black Widow hasn't come out yet, but Thunderbolt Ross is involved in that, and we believe he's chasing down some form of his own super soldier serum. And potentially at this time, he will have already transformed into Red Hulk and putting his team together, which potentially will include Yelena Belova, who is another potential sight to see in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, especially if there are little hints of the Thunderbolts being put together. The last one we have to mention is Nick Fury, and don't necessarily think he will show up in this series, because at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, it was revealed to us that Nick Fury wasn't Nick Fury, but in fact, Nick Fury has been up in space working on what we can only presume to be SWORD, so it's possible that Nick Fury and his team have moved into more the cosmic side of the MCU, and it has been explained to us that there is an earthbound side and a cosmic side, so we might not actually see Nick Fury, or the real Nick Fury, on Earth involved in that as much as we have in the past. But we'll have to wait to see if that is true, and it's always good to add Nick Fury to a will he show up list. Moving on, we have WandaVision Disney Plus series. Now, this specific series is insane. It's been described by Kevin Feige himself as nothing we've ever done before. And there are different plot leaks and different speculations as to what will happen, but there are also some confirmations, like WandaVision will tie into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That's a fact. She's going to be involved in that movie, and we're going to see a huge moving forward point from WandaVision to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So you can definitely tell what the vibe will be for WandaVision, as we're already aware that Doctor Strange is going to have a little bit more of a horror note. It's going to see some darker things than we've seen. It's not going to be a horror film, but it is definitely going to be a different direction than what we are familiar with. And it seems like WandaVision is following the same path. But WandaVision will obviously have characters in it by the name of Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, who will be the main star of this series. Vision will be making a return, whether as an alive being or as an hallucination of Wanda's mind. We're definitely going to be seeing confirmed Darcy Lewis, who we saw a lot in Thor, and Jimmy Woo, who was brought to us in Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's also been confirmed that Captain Marvel's sweet little girl, Monica Rambeau, will be making an appearance in the WandaVision series. And it's been speculated that she will have something to do with SWORD, since we've seen Nick Fury has been working very closely with Captain Marvel and has been in space, and he's probably trying to keep an eye on what's going on in Earth. It's been rumored that we can expect to see Pietro yet again in the WandaVision series, but not quite as you think. This rumor comes from the news that Evan Peters has signed up to be involved in the WandaVision series. Now, he played Quicksilver in the Fox universe, and it's also been rumored that he could be playing Mephisto in WandaVision and have nothing to do with Quicksilver at all. But also stands a rumor that he will be playing a different Quicksilver from a different universe. If this is connecting to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it's very possible and likely that we will also be traveling to different multiverses in WandaVision. So seeing a different Quicksilver played by a character who's already played Quicksilver in a different universe actually makes a lot of sense, and it's kind of a cool way for Marvel to start introducing that there is a different universe where these Fox characters existed, and it's a way for them to kind of explain the merging of those characters into the MCU. Clearly that is all speculatory and none of that is confirmed, but you could be either seeing Quicksilver or it's been heavily rumored that Mephisto will be played by Evan Peters. Also, it's kind of assumed but not confirmed that Doctor Strange at some point in the series will make an appearance. And I agree with that. It goes without saying, I don't think he'll have a huge role in the series, but he will definitely have some type of involvement, maybe even in the end, depending on what direction this series goes. Is Doctor Strange cleaning up after Wanda, or does Wanda kind of learn how to harness her powers during this series and joins Doctor Strange in the fight of the multiverse? That is something that's not revealed, but we'll definitely see in the series. And of course, we have Catherine Hahn, who will be playing a nosy neighbor. Now, the character that we're all assuming she's going to be playing is Agatha Harkness, which also makes sense because we've seen her dressed up as a witch, and it's been confirmed that there'll be covens and the Salem witch trials and all of that kind of stuff, and that's where the Scarlet Witch fits in her lore and in the comics. So she will have an involvement, and she's heavily involved with Wanda in the comics as well, so that's not unexpected to be seen. We are also anticipating, but not confirmed, to be seeing Speed and Wiccan, who are the children of the Scarlet Witch. And obviously, we don't know for sure if they will be in, but it is heavily rumored, and all of this series seems to have to do with the Scarlet Witch either being put into or putting herself in this universe where her life is perfect and ideal, and it seems that she just wants a normal life, and children would certainly be a part of that. And again, if they actually exist and are real, it's possible we could see one or both of them in the Young Avengers moving forward, which would be awesome. And then, of course, the speculatory characters. Maybe we'll see Wong make an appearance as he's checking up on Wanda for Doctor Strange. It's possible that we'll see Mephisto, as we covered with Evan Peters. And there's also talks of Doctor Doom, who has relevance and a connection to both Agatha Harkness and Mephisto, so it could be really cool to see if they drop some Easter eggs or even a scene with him in there, even if we don't know who he is until later on in the MCU timeline. And of course, the Loki series, which would be following in succession. Now, the Loki series is probably one of the more anticipated MCU projects coming up in the MCU future. So, definitely confirmed Loki, and we know a little bit about what it was he was up to during all this time, when Kevin Feige had to say, "The question I got asked more than any other question in Endgame was, where did Loki go? What happened to Loki?" This series will answer where he went. Loki, without a doubt, is a huge fan favorite, and throughout the years of his involvement in the MCU has won the heart of many fans. Now, it's important to remember that this Loki that we will be seeing is a different Loki. He's not the same Loki that has had some life-changing opportunities and moments passing by, and he's now kind of more allies with Thor. This is the Loki who was just trying to destroy New York so that he could find some Infinity Stones for Thanos and then, of course, be King of Earth. So, a very interesting storyline headed for us in the future. Now, there are some rumors of who we can expect to see in this show, and this includes female Loki, Kid Loki, and Enchantress. Now, Enchantress would have a direct connection to Loki like he does in the comics. There's a huge connection, which is Loki gave her her powers. And then, of course, Kid Loki and female Loki would have something to do with the time traveling and the multiverse, where he will be manipulating everything using the stone that he has. There's also an expectation that we will see the TVA and Justice Peace. Justice Peace is an agent in the TVA, and the TVA stands for Time Variant Authority. Now, we've seen that Loki was wearing one of their jumpers in the teaser trailer that we had. Apparently, their logo does show up there, and it's an assumption that they capture him and he either easily escapes or gets tricked into being told that he has to help them solve another issue, which is right down Loki's alley. He'll help them as much as it helps him until he can finally get ahead. And then the last rumored character to show up is Kang the Conqueror. Now, he would show up as potentially the main antagonist behind all the issues that Loki might be finding in this series, and it would be more of a hint for bigger things to come. I don't believe they would use Kang the Conqueror as a character to just show up in a series and not make his way over to the MCU. And even though it would be a really cool Easter egg, there is so much potential for Kang the Conqueror in the MCU and so many connections that they can make, like with the Fantastic Four and with the Young Avengers and Iron Lad. So definitely not an opportunity that they're going to want to let pass. And then Justice Peace, who is all but confirmed to be the character that Owen Wilson will be playing. Owen Wilson has been confirmed to have a spot in the Loki series, and although his character hasn't been confirmed, it seems like he will be playing Justice Peace, an agent for the TVA. As far as characters as you could predict or speculate that they might have an appearance in the show, it would be pretty clear to see possibly Thor make an appearance in this episode, as well as Doctor Strange, the Eternals, and the Watcher. And the reason behind that is the time travel aspect does give us an opportunity to see what the Eternals have been up to. We are being introduced to the Eternals, but it has been confirmed that they have been around for thousands of years. The Watcher as well will have an opportunity to be involved, as he can put himself in any situation he wants, and all of this time traveling and manipulating of the universe definitely is something that he would want to be involved in. And then of course, Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange is going to be a huge player in the MCU moving forward. There's rumors of the Illuminati. There's rumors of moving forward in this huge multiverse and all of these changes, and Doctor Strange is kind of the key to all of that. So to see him pop up in several different episodes, series, and different movies throughout the MCU makes a lot of sense. He's going to be a very central part of all of it. Now, the last MCU-related Disney Plus series that we're going to cover that happens in Phase 4 is the Hawkeye series. Now, this one has actually been kept very, very under wraps. We know that it's going to have to do with Hawkeye passing his mantle down to Kate Bishop, and for those reasons, both Hawkeye and Kate Bishop will be appearing in this series. But we don't really know exactly what the storyline, the plot line, or where they've gained their inspiration for this series will go. But one thing that is relatively sure is that after everything is said and done, Kate Bishop will be making her way into the MCU on the big screen, in the movies, and potentially in the Young Avengers. So we also have a confirmation for Loki, who will be showing up in the Hawkeye series. Now, Loki is not a human, but a man's best friend, and is a dog who is not only a companion to Hawkeye, but also to Kate Bishop. And there are several instances in the comics where Loki actually saves Clint's life. So it'll be cool that they're adding him into the series. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he moves forward, like with Kate Bishop, into some of the bigger movies, and if he has a relevance, or if he'll just be kind of a cool little B or C list character that they've added in because he actually exists, and that's really fun. It's also been rumored, but not confirmed by any means, that Trickshot and the Tracksuit Mafia will be making an appearance in the Hawkeye series, which will be cool because that will follow down a Hawkeye storyline and will give Kate Bishop some adventures to train on. And then, of course, it's speculated and predicted that Laura will be making an appearance in the Hawkeye series, and this, of course, is the wife of Clint Barton, following as well is his kids, and Black Widow. Now, Black Widow, obviously, in the time period that Hawkeye takes place, has moved on, thanks to her sacrifice in Avengers Endgame, but it's possible that he will have some flashbacks while he's training Kate Bishop, or that he will be mourning, or that we'll even get to see a little bit of a scene of her burial ground where they've had a little funeral for her. The actress, Scarlett Johansson herself, on why they didn't have a funeral for Black Widow, actually came out and said that's not what she wanted. Tony Stark wanted something big where everybody would show up, and she believed that they would remember her in that time, but she didn't want a huge funeral. She was a quiet person who lived her life and wanted to go out the same way. So it would be interesting to see if we get a little memorial for her, if not in the Black Widow movie in the post-credit scenes, but maybe in the Hawkeye series, as her and Hawkeye were extremely close. So that wraps it up for the characters that we can expect to see in the MCU Disney Plus series, at least for Phase 4. Like I said earlier, there are other television shows that have already been announced, including Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight. So there's a lot more going on behind the scenes for Disney Plus and the MCU, and a lot of characters that we probably haven't even thought of or mentioned yet that will be making an inclusion in these shows and making their way over to the movies. It's definitely about to get very exciting in the MCU once Phase 4 does kick off. We know it's been pushed back and halted a little bit because of the COVID issues, but once it all starts coming to fruition and we start seeing these Disney Plus shows unfold, these movies unfold, and then all of them intertwine and connect together, that is going to be amazing. And they need to bring in something pretty crazy to continue the awesome series and run that they've had with the Infinity Saga. Let me know what you guys think in the comment down below. A lot of characters were mentioned here, but certainly a lot of characters that could be involved were missed, so I'd love to hear what you guys think and who you think would be showing up in these series. Let me know down below. Thanks again to everybody who watched until the very end of the video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button as we cover all major movie and television news right here on Cosmic Culture.